Welcome back, everyone. So, if you've been following my Honda ADV160 series, you'll know that I bought this bike in January. I'm in the U.S. Need to clarify that for the newcomers. I'm in the U.S. and the ADV160 is a brand new model for the U.S. market. We had the ADV150. And this is more or less an updated version of that with a 4-valve 160cc engine. I bought it in January. I rode it a little bit in April. I put about 170 miles on it, and then I found the water pump was leaking. So I brought it in for warranty service. It took about a month and a week, or a month and 2 weeks to get it back. So we're not off to a great start with this journey, but here it is. It's back, allegedly fixed. I got it back about a week ago, and I haven't been able to ride it because of weather issues and scheduling and stuff. But I just took it out for a little journey. Really not that much of one, maybe 10, 15 miles or so. And I wanted to see if the water pump issue has been legitimately resolved. And I remain skeptic that it was, because while it was at the dealership getting fixed, the first water pump to arrive from Thailand was damaged. So they replaced it with another. They went out and they ordered another pump. That's what's on here now. So I picked it up. I drove it home last week, and it looked like it was still leaking, but from a different spot. So finally today I got a chance to get out and ride it a little bit. So I went out, grabbed some dinner, put about 20 miles or so, 15 miles, really not that many actually, just a quick journey. And I gotta say, I really do like the way this thing handles. It is definitely better suited, I believe, to more urban settings. Its home country is Thailand, so I assume that the roads are probably a little bit like Bermuda, or very narrow and twisty and old and crappy, but that's kind of where it probably does well. In my last video, I actually shot the last video about 2 days before I picked this thing up. So I was staring at nothing, saying how upset I am at the bike and the dealer and everything. And but I hope we're gonna find out in a minute if it's leaking. But I hope things are okay down there. I hope it's not leaking, and I can continue to enjoy this bike and keep making content. But again, we're off to a rough start. And I was not in a very good mood when I shot that last video, pretty clearly. I was also shaken up by a near-miss accident that we had. A near-miss. We didn't get hit, but, well, we had a BMW tumbling towards us on the highway. That was exciting. Okay. All right, got the light on. Let's take a look at the new pump. What do we got? Okay. It's dry. I see a little residue in there. Oh. Okay. Is that from before? No, it's still leaking. The pump is still leaking, guys. But it's dried. You can see right up in there where the weep hole is. You can see coolant has actually come out of it. And, yeah, we still have a leak. Love it. Yeah, it's still leaking. So, here's what I'm going to do. That's nothing there. I did clean this up as best as I could from before. There was a little bit of residue here. There was coolant here. From the last repair, from when I picked it up. And I assumed it was from when they just didn't bother to clean it. when they put it together, but it looks like this seal is holding. And looking up inside there, I see a little bit of residue, but that was there before. Looks like there's some RTV sealant. Oh, that's the pump seal itself. Okay, that's fine. The pump actually comes assembled at the factory. That's how it ships. A little RTV is nothing. I'm going to clean this off, and we're going to ride it a few more times and just see if it is a recurring issue. But not a good sign, especially on a brand new pump after the original one had the same leak. Really not happy about that. But I am going to, here's my plan. If I ride it again, well, when I ride it again, if I can determine whether or not it is still leaking for sure, if it is leaking, I'm going to bring it back to the dealer. I could do it myself, but why? I paid good money for this thing and it has a warranty, so I'm going to use it. I'll bring it back to the dealer and I'm going to say, look, go ahead and try to fix it again. But what I'm thinking is, at this stage, I may just lemon law the bike. It does qualify for New Hampshire's lemon law at this point. It already does. It definitely does qualify because it is a repeat failure. It has been out of service for a consecutive 30 days or more. And when I bring it back, it's going to be another 2 weeks, 30 days, whatever. So I think what I'm going to do is we're going to clean that up a little bit, get all that residue off. Whatever. There's a lot of maybes and what ifs involved. But it is definitely leaking again. And this is the third pump that's been on this bike. The first one, the second one, and now this one. I don't know what is going on with Honda these days. They built a nice bike. It rides nice. It runs nice. It's a nice bike. I have no complaints with its functionality, its handling. I don't like the windshield. That's as useful as they say, as tits on a bull. But, what the hell? What the hell indeed. So, I'm going to have to file another warranty claim. Bottom line. But we'll wipe it up, give it another ride, a longer ride maybe, and then we'll know for sure what we're dealing with. Okay. So I have ridden this bike for about 40 miles. And, hold on. Where are we at? We got 240 miles now. So I put 40 more miles on it today. I drove it to work for the first time since I bought it. And I was on it all day. From one building to another, running errands, grab lunch, come back, run more errands. I pretty much never let it get any rest. And let's take a look. So we wiped off the residue about 40 miles ago. Let's see what we got. So why don't we go ahead and zoom in on that pump. Take a look at that weep hole. Sweco, that's who made the pump. It's not made by Honda, it's made by Sweco. All right, here's that weep hole, and it looks like it's dry. You can see some residue there from when it leaked the first time, but otherwise, no leakage. I'd love to know why these bolts have black paint on them, what they came from. I mean, that's supposed to be a brand new pump from the factory, and I don't know why they have a couple of random bolts with paint residue on them, but okay. There it is. Good to go. No leaks. No problem. So I'm going to call that a win. I think we're in good shape. I think we're back in business. And while we're here, let's take a look. So you can see some of that coolant from before. It dribbled over everything and made kind of a mess. You can see it leaked over here. Wait a second. They have to pull the oh, they had to pull the radiator off, I think. But I see some residue here, some residue there. Let's see. Yeah, they had to have pulled the radiator off to get the job done. So that's probably what. So what they told me is the first pump they put on, coolant was just gushing out of it in pretty short order. So it got everywhere. And but what alarms me is this here. Do we have a new problem now? I should pull this cover off and take a look. But it's not leaking. It's not wet or anything. Wouldn't that be funny if the radiator was leaking too? I do know they spilled coolant when they filled it, so that could be what that is. Well, let's take a look at the coolant level. So it's sitting on the side stand, and it's at the correct level, at the lower level. And if I tilt the bike, it should. Yeah, there's plenty in there. Should be okay. So let's make sure that I should be able to squeeze that hose, and the coolant should go up and down. I think we're in good shape, guys. This bike is actually, you know, it's I'd say that today's ride, I really started to reconsider selling this thing, because I really did enjoy riding it. I'm going to be honest. I did enjoy every minute of it. This thing does go, and it is comfortable. Today was kind of the first time I've ever really put it through its paces as a possible daily commuter bike. And it had handled it pretty well. I mean, let's be completely honest. There is no replacement for the Honda Helix, and that was my commuter bike for 3 years and about 30,000 miles. Maybe 4 years. I had that bike for a while, and that Helix was the best thing on two wheels I've ever owned. But they don't make those anymore. I have to get over that. I can't buy a new one. But if I were to get rid of this for another machine, it would literally be a 20-year-old Honda Helix, because it is the best bike for the task. Hands down. There's nothing else better. The best trunk space, the best for comfort, reliability. There just isn't anything better than a Honda Helix. In closing, I'll say this much. If you're buying one of these water-cooled Honda scooters, be it an ADV or a PCX for the U.S. market, again, we can only cover what they sell here in the States. If you are buying one, definitely make a point to keep a close eye on your cooling system. Because in my research, even before I bought this, I knew that there was a weak spot with some of these water pumps. They do have a failure rate. And I wouldn't say it's high, but I'm thinking it's pretty high. Replacing the pump is not expensive, but it should not be a routine maintenance item. Honda has been making these engines for a long time, these water-cooled compact engines. They should know how to build a proper water pump, or at least how to spec one out to their supplier. What I believe happened earlier, when the pump was brand new, the new pump was new, what I believe had occurred is the seal hadn't broken in. So I do know there is a break-in period for these pumps. There definitely is. I think a lot of them do leak from the factory, and they're supposed to stop leaking after, a little bit of use. The original pump, it got worse. So it never stopped leaking, and actually it worsened. This one, it looks like it did what it's supposed to do. Once it broke in, it stopped leaking. Now, I'll take it out a few more times. I'm going to keep a close eye on this. I have 1-year warranty coverage, and I intend fully to ensure that if there is a problem, it is covered and taken care of. But I'm going to take the cover. I want to see where that residue came from. So I'm going to take the cover off the radiator, and we're going to take a look at that, because I think there might be another problem. So hang tight. All right, I got the radiator cover off. Just checking the ends of the radiator for any leaks. This is a drain right here. Just make sure there's no leakage from the cap, which appears to be attached. Oh, it screws on, it bolts on. Looks like a never open one hot. So they don't really want, yeah, you can see there's some residue there. They don't want the end user taking that off. But I surmise that it's probably as simple as just unbolting it like that. Yep, that's exactly it. Just check the coolant level on that radiator, make sure it's full and not low. It's an interesting kind of cap. It's not full. So that's low. So they didn't top it off. I can't even see coolant in there. Can you? So I'm glad we checked this because, well, there's no coolant in there. Okay. So I'm gonna run to tomorrow. I'm gonna have to pick up some coolant, and we're gonna fill it back up again. It just keeps getting better and better. I wonder if there's anything in there at all. Oh, God. All right. Well, that's why we check things. Look, I don't want to badmouth Honda here or the dealer, but somebody fucked up. I wonder who. So I guess we're going to end the video for now. We have no coolant in here, and that's probably why there's no leaks. Yeah. I'm going to say that's probably what's going on. There's nothing visible at all. Now, I have automotive coolant, but it's not the same. Honda uses it's a very special, actually it's not really that special, but just to be on the safe side, we're gonna put in what's supposed to be there, which is motorcycle coolant. And you know what I mean? Can't make this shit up. I hope we didn't overheat. Well, we know we didn't overheat it because it would have started backfire. It would have started pinging and knocking. So it didn't overheat. So there's probably just enough coolant in there to prevent the bike from overheating. But that does not give me the confidence that I so desperately was hoping for. I'm sure you can understand why. Oh, God. All right. All right. Stay tuned. Okay, just a little bit of info. So I have the official Honda service manual. This is the same book they should have there. It does tell you, fill the system with the coolant through the filler opening to the filler neck. Pro Honda HP coolant or an equivalent high-quality ethylene glycol. Add coolant up to filler neck. Screw in the radiator cap until it's boss contacting with the lug of the radiator. Format, that's the overflow. Fill the reserve tank with the coolant to the upper level line. And there's even some pressure testing information here. You pressurize the radiator, RC3B Toyotech or equivalent with adapter set. Here's the description of the water pump. So I do believe this comes as an assembly. Even gives torque specs, everything you need to know. Installation instructions for the new water pump. So yeah, what I don't know is if this is one assembly or multiple parts, but I do believe it is shipped as one assembly. And it does tell you can service it with it in the frame. So, you know, look, I'm running out of benefits of the doubt at this point. So the unknown is how much coolant is really in there. So what we're going to do is tomorrow I'm going to buy a bottle of coolant, and we'll resume the video from there and see what happens. We're going to see how much coolant it really takes.